What if some of the world's most renowned icons spent decades concealing their deepest realities, while millions of admirers cheered them on every single day? Beneath the polished interviews, historic championships, and Hollywood triumphs were profound emotional battles that remained largely invisible. These transformations were far more than mere physical transitions. They became defining cultural milestones that challenged societal norms, ignited vital conversations, and fundamentally reshaped our public understanding of identity and truth. One specific narrative later in this video may truly leave you speechless tonight and forever. Caitlyn Jenner. To millions of Americans, Bruce Jenner once personified the ultimate ideal of masculine athletic prowess. After capturing the gold medal in the decathlon at the 1976 Montreal Olympics, Jenner was transformed into a national hero almost overnight. That famous face graced Wheaties cereal boxes, primetime talk shows, and magazine covers across the country. To the public, this life represented the peak of discipline, victory, and traditional American success. Yet behind that celebrated persona, a vastly different internal conflict quietly endured for decades. Caitlyn Jenner later shared that throughout her meteoric rise, she was privately grappling with her gender identity during an era when discussions regarding transgender lives were almost non-existent in the public square. Rather than addressing those feelings openly, Jenner pivoted intensely toward world-class competition, channeling personal turmoil into relentless physical training and achievement. Everything shifted in 2015 when Caitlyn appeared on the cover of Vanity Fair with the legendary introduction, "Call Me Caitlyn." The revelation immediately became one of the most significant cultural flashpoints of the decade. For some, the news was a shock. For others, it served as a poignant example of personal honesty arriving later in life. What makes Caitlyn's journey so significant is that her transition occurred after she had already become a permanent fixture in the American consciousness. She risked widespread criticism and intense media scrutiny to finally live with integrity. Her story reminded millions of older viewers that authenticity can remain tucked away for years, even behind the brightest success, and that one's truth never expires with age. Petras. Petras understood her own identity at a remarkably young age, long before she emerged as an international pop sensation. Growing up in Germany, she first caught the public eye as a teenager by openly discussing her journey with gender identity at a time when such topics remained deeply controversial. For years, the media focused more on her personal history than her vocal talent, placing immense pressure on her during her formative years. Instead of letting public curiosity dictate her path, Kim dedicated herself entirely to her craft. Inspired by the precision of pop music and determined to succeed on her own merits, she spent years perfecting her sound and building a loyal global following online. Slowly but surely, she earned respect for her songwriting, infectious melodies, and commanding stage presence. Her career hit a historic peak in 2023, when she became the first openly transgender woman to win a Grammy for Best Pop Duo/Group Performance for the hit Unholy. That moment was about more than a trophy. It signaled a shift in the industry toward valuing talent over outdated social barriers. Kim's story is one of pure persistence. From childhood, she navigated social friction while still discovering her own voice. Many expected those hurdles to limit her, but they only sharpened her resolve. Today, Petras proves that personal truth and professional ambition can thrive together without apology. Rosen. Unlike the other public figures in this discussion, Rosen never sought the spotlight of mainstream Hollywood. However, her story is perhaps the most emotionally resonant because it involves the delicate balance between personal authenticity and sacred cultural tradition. Raised in a close-knit Hasidic Jewish community in Brooklyn, Lily's world was defined by strict religious observance, family loyalty, and ancient customs that guided every hour of the day. Choosing to live her truth was not a simple act of rebellion. It involved navigating the heavy spiritual and social consequences of leaving a world that many outsiders find difficult to grasp. While some in her position feel they must erase their past to survive, Lily chose a path of reconciliation. Rather than turning her back on her heritage, she became a bridge between two worlds. As a Yiddish language consultant, she helped major productions like Netflix's Unorthodox and the film Menashe depict Hasidic life with nuanced realism. Her lived experience allowed artists to move past caricatures and honor traditions with dignity. For many older viewers, Lily's story is deeply moving because it touches on universal themes of belonging, the weight of family expectations, and the courage required to honor one's roots while finally embracing one's true self. Hunter Schaefer. Hunter Schaefer represents a modern archetype of celebrity where art advocacy and authenticity are indistinguishable. Most viewers recognize her as Jules from the hit series Euphoria, a role she played with a vulnerability that deeply moved a new generation of audiences. But long before her acting debut, Hunter was already a force in high fashion. Modeling for icons like Prada and Dior, she challenged traditional beauty standards on the world's most prestigious runways. What many do not realize is that her activism began years before her fame. As a high school student in North Carolina, she was a plaintiff in a legal challenge against legislation that restricted basic rights for transgender people. That early experience galvanized her public voice. Hunter is unique because she does not view her creativity and her beliefs as separate entities. For older generations, her rise offers a window into how younger people see identity as a personal masterpiece rather than a set of rules to follow. Her success in fashion, television, and advocacy demonstrates that today's visibility is built on a foundation of being yourself from the very start. Laverne Cox. Laverne Cox's journey is a masterclass in resilience and the power of turning hardship into a higher purpose. Growing up in Mobile, Alabama during a conservative era, she faced intense bullying that might have broken many spirits. Instead, she found her sanctuary in the performing arts. Her major breakthrough came in 2013 as Sophia Bursette in Orange is the New Black. This was a landmark performance. Sophia was portrayed with a level of warmth, intelligence, and complexity rarely seen on television. Laverne became the first openly transgender person nominated for a Primetime Emmy in acting, shattering a glass ceiling that had stood for decades. Beyond her acting, she is respected for her ability to educate the public with immense grace and calm. Older audiences in particular have connected with her thoughtful, empathetic communication style. She didn't just seek fame, she sought to change the conversation. She proved that true cultural impact happens when visibility is paired with compassion. Because of Laverne Cox, many who once felt ignored by society began to realize that their own stories were worthy of respect. Elliot Page Long. Before Elliot Page shared his journey with the public, he was already established as one of his generation's most gifted actors. He first captivated audiences in the film Juno, earning an Academy Award nomination for a performance defined by wit and emotional honesty. He followed that success with blockbusters like Inception, cementing his status as a global star. Despite this acclaim, Elliot lived with a painful disconnect between his public image and his internal reality. In 2020, he shared his truth with the world, becoming one of the most prominent transgender men in history. Because he transitioned after achieving immense fame, his announcement carried significant weight. His 2021 Time magazine cover provided a human face to an experience many older Americans were only beginning to understand through news headlines. What resonated most was Elliot's candidness about the joy and relief he felt. He described a sense of finally being able to exist without the crushing weight of a secret. That vulnerability is something anyone can relate to regardless of their own life path. Elliot's story shows that coming home to yourself is the greatest achievement of all. Janet Mock. Janet Mock's legacy is defined by her intellectual depth and her commitment to reclaiming the narrative. Her memoir, Redefining Realness, became a bestseller by offering a compassionate and sophisticated look at identity and girlhood. Unlike the sensationalist media of the past, Janet insisted on dignity and nuance. She eventually moved behind the scenes as a writer, director, and producer for the series Pose, which centered on the lives of transgender women of color in the 1980s. By taking the reins of production, she ensured these stories were told with joy and complexity rather than just tragedy. Janet's impact is profound because she moved from being the subject of a story to the author of the story. She showed that visibility is only the first step. True power lies in having the agency to tell your own tale. Her journey is a reminder that when we have the courage to speak our truth, we give others the permission to do the same. Trevy Moran. For many who followed the early days of internet fame, Trevy Moran's face was a constant presence long before she fully understood her own path. She first captured the national spotlight as a precocious 13-year-old on the hit show The X Factor, where her undeniable energy and a dramatic viral audition moment made her an overnight sensation. Yet growing up in the relentless 24-hour glare of the digital age meant that every stage of her self-discovery was documented for millions to scrutinize. Trevy spent her formative years navigating the complexities of YouTube stardom, a world often foreign to older generations, initially coming out as gay before realizing that her internal truth ran even deeper. In 2020, Trevy shared a deeply personal announcement regarding her identity as a transgender woman, a moment that marked the end of a long period of public performance and the beginning of a life lived with total transparency. What makes her story particularly compelling is the sheer resilience required to evolve so publicly while battling the pressures of the entertainment industry. Beyond her transition, she has been remarkably honest about her journey through addiction and her commitment to sobriety, proving that the road to authenticity is often paved with difficult private battles. Trevy Moran's transformation is a poignant reminder that being seen by the world is not the same as being truly known. By reclaiming her name and her narrative, she transitioned from a viral child star into a woman of substance, showing us that the courage to change is the most vital talent of all. Before you leave, tell us honestly in the comments which of these journeys surprised you the most, or which one changed the way you view courage and fame. Your perspective is valuable here. If you found this documentary meaningful, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stories that explore the human heart behind the headlines.